Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino from the Stacey Storino YouTube channel, the #1 place for entrepreneur moms to come, not just when they're balancing work and home, but also when they want to learn about how to, while they're balancing work and home, go multimedia and omni-channel in their online content marketing approach. Okay, so I am on day, holy moly, 27 of my 365-day live stream orbit to this channel. So if you're new around here, either live or on the replay, make sure you click that big red subscribe button, click the bell notification, and select all from your options. So this way, hopefully, YouTube will serve up the notification the next time I go live during this live stream orbit. Hey, Stephanie Jared Jones, what's going on, girls? So good to see you. Hi, Stephanie. It's awesome to see you. Hope all is well. And then I also have Transformational Healing by Donna. Hooray! I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so this one's going to be a quick one, fingers crossed, but here's the deal. I do have one surprising tip for you that I'll share today, and I will go back and unpack more tips over the next week when it comes to email marketing. I've lost count of the amount of times that I've given this advice, and almost always I've gotten somebody very surprised and sometimes uncomfortable about this advice, especially if they're a woman. So here's the real surprising tip. When you have an email list, it doesn't matter how big it is, how small it is, how long you've had it, anything like that. It doesn't matter what your niche, pitch, product, or sitch is. Let me make that clear. Whether you're selling handmade goods, you're selling other types of products, you're selling services, you're selling, coaching, you're selling online content. It doesn't matter. This tip applies no matter what. And the surprising tip is, hey, Kawaii Cactus, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. Aw, all my faves are here. Yay. Oh, there are more, but I'm glad you guys are here. Yay. Yay. Okay, so here's the deal. The one surprising tip that I have for anybody watching this live or on the replay, and you can put, if you'd like, hashtag live or hashtag replay down below too, if you like, is you are likely not emailing your list enough. In fact, the more you email your list, the better they like it, the more successful you will be in general. The more successful you will be in terms of relationship marketing with them, the more successful you will be in terms of getting them to take a micro conversion. Click on this button, click the link, click on the pictures to take you to a blog post, a YouTube video, my Etsy shop because I'm having a sale, my website because if it's not for a blog post, I'm having a sale. Here's my e-commerce shopping cart, or the page to the specific product that I'm spotlighting for the day. Here's a link to my podcast. So, you get to, the more emails that you put in there, the more communications you are having with your list. It's just like in real life. If you're dating somebody, you're trying to fall in love with them, you want to see them more, not less. You want to communicate with them more, not less. When you basically are the functional equivalent of two ships passing in the night, you think you're not bothering anybody, but you're also not relating to anybody. You're also not communicating with anybody. And for sure, you're not providing value to anybody. Or you're not doing it enough to keep that kind of emotional glue or connection between you, your brand, and them. Stephanie Jones says, I found out by accident that some of my welcoming series is going to my promotion folder. I signed up in my email list to see how things are going. It is important to test for deliverability. No matter what ESP or email service provider you are using, there are definitely ways also to keep your emails from being treated as spam by other people's ESPs, right? So we can only control optimizing for our own ESP to deliver out our messages. But there are some broad-based things that you can do to make it more likely than not that you will not go into a promotions folder or a spam folder or a junk, or if you're in a Microsoft Office environment, an other folder. Stephanie said, let's hear from her. What I learned is that I did not put my name in front of my business, though it was set up correctly, but it was not. Oh, I thought it was set up correctly, but it was not. Oops. Hey, listen, it's an easy enough mistake to make. So we should always, with a fresh pair of eyes, go through how we've set everything up, from in our dashboard to in our welcome series, our automated email list series. We're going to cover automation and the different types of email funnels that I think that you should run. We're going to go do that, and we're going to unpack one of those per day over the next week, I would say, approximately. So my big tip here is you're probably not emailing your list enough. And odds are, if you're an entrepreneur mama, you're a woman, we're socialized not to be too pushy or too aggressive or too salesy, and so we're like, oh, I don't want to email list. I don't want to email my list every day. I don't want to email my list almost every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to email your list daily or it's like an epic fail. But if you email your list at least several times a week, you are more likely to get, over time, better open rates. Over time, better click-through rates, meaning they're not just opening up your email, they're taking whatever micro conversion you are asking them to do. Click on the button, visit this link, etc. So, and you're like, well, that isn't pushy. Think about it. If somebody signed up to be on your email list, they are likely keen to hear from you. Whether you are a products-based business and they opted onto your email list to get a coupon, let me tell you one little trick, Stephanie, and for anybody else who is in her situation, you would like to do a Tuesday tip, says Stephanie. Please do. I think that it's really cool when you're providing value to your list. You're a business, right? Or you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, they signed up onto your list. They do expect from time to time to get emails from you that are saying you're having a flash sale, or you have a new product line, or your old product line is retiring, or if you're a coach, I have a sale on coaching packages. Black Friday is going to come up next month. Here's my Black Friday sales. I have a new service or product line or offering or course, right? Cher isn't here tonight, but she's got, books that she's writing. She's writing a book. So she might want to talk about, here's another sample from my newest chapter in my book, get on the waiting list for it. So there's a variety of things that you can do that are sales related, and that's fine as long as more than the time that you're asking for something, you're doing a withdrawal from the bank of KLT or no like and trust, you're actually putting a deposit in instead. Oh, there's Cher! Speak of the devil! I just mentioned you. You have to listen on the replay, but I just mentioned you. It's like Beetlejuice. Boom, there you are. I love it. Let me say hi. Hi, Cher. Glad you're here. Okay, so the one tip that I have is you are not emailing your list enough. Definitely you can email them with promotional things. You're a business, you're an entrepreneur, they're following you, but I would say make many more deposits in the bank of know, like, and trust, and then make an occasional withdrawal. So like Stephanie recommended, she wants to do a Tuesday tip, right? So Stephanie, you do tutus, right? So I'm thinking, a Tuesday tip about the care of tutus, multiple uses of tutus, I don't know. Hey, cheers. Different ways you could use tutus for costumes, that you could use them to dress up holiday outfits, multiple uses of them. I'm telling you how to use them, the next time you're off in your dance troupe. Tip Tuesday is one good way where, yes, you're talking about your products, but it's not like sell necessarily. It's here's what to do if you already have one. Here's what to do if you have one from me or anyone else. So like for jewelry, a Tip Tuesday thing could be like cleaning jewelry. If you're a life coach, Tip Tuesday, if you want to do something like that or something similar, here's a way to, manage your time better. If you're a professional organizer, here's a little tip, a little mini tip about organizing your glove compartment in your car or your sock drawer or something like that. provide value via a Tip Tuesday or like a quick little mini newsletter full of tips, tricks, and hacks. Or you could time lapse out maybe 2-3 days a week, a tip, a trick, a hack, better care and feeding of your products, cleaning of your products, maintenance of your products, additional unexpected uses of your products. That's value, value, value. And you're giving out value in a way that they're connected to you because of the type of business you are, the niche, pitch, product, and sitch, the vibe you sent out that attracted that tribe. They're going to love stuff like that. And if you do have a blog like Cher is going to be doing, right? Or, Melissa's not here tonight. Ooh, Stephanie says, thoughts are, how can you style your tutu in the winter? Ooh, cleaning tips, mom tips, and soon a gift guide showing other makers. I love it. Anything like that, people like. They like lookbooks. They like guides. If you're into doing PDFs, even if it's just a quick one-page sheet, don't go crazy. In fact, pace yourself, because I'm telling you, daily would be optimal or near daily, but a lot of you guys have been too timid to email your list. So Cher says, yes, beginning my Orbit blog November 1st. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's cool. That's cool. So I know that YouTube's probably not going to allow you to put a link. I can put down links on my channel, but I'm not sure. Try to put a link to your blog. If you can't, at least give us the keyword search term to find you in Google, because that'd be cool. I'm very keen to see that. But yeah, if you have a blog like Cher does or is about to have, then you would, email your list saying, hey, everybody, lead with the benefit-laden tagline so that they're interested. Don't just be like, hey, I put up the latest, post to my blog. Here it is. Here's the title. Bye. Unless the title is just so sexy that actually has a benefits-laden line in it, which it might, then that could do double duty. But don't just be like, here's my latest blog. Here's my latest YouTube video. Woo! People, 10 years ago, that would have been great. But now there's so many blogs and there's so many YouTube channels. Or here's the link to my recent live stream and replay that I did. And and just boom, there's the link. I know, especially if you don't like to write like Cher does and I do, Stephanie may, but you may just be like, oh, I don't really love to write. But remember, just being like, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link, give them that benefits-laden reason why. Lead with that foot in the dance when you're emailing your list. You can otherwise keep the email short and sweet and have the link in there. And by the way, most email service providers don't like it if you have more than 3 links in an email. Anything more than 3 tends to be treated like spam. So, if you want to increase the odds of deliverability of your email, that's one thing to do. I also wouldn't necessarily put more than, say, 2 or 3 pictures in the same email for the same reason. It starts feeling kind of a little bit too repetitive and or spammy. So if you've got multiple courses of action or micro conversions in an email, I'd almost say split it up, because again, the more you email your list, the better. Stephanie says, I had a blog at one time speaking about my family's adoption journey and our daily life. Don't have it anymore. So just trying to find time to do these things. Absolutely. Absolutely. At Stephanie. That's a good use for a power hour. And day 2, I introduced the concept of the power hour and how you could kind of slide rule around the hour over a 24-hour cycle or day, just so that you could fit it in. You don't have to do it all at once. However, 2 days ago, I really need to get a list to go together. About 2 days ago, we talked about 4 different quads that you could put in the power hour, no matter how it shows up in your day. Is it 4 quads time-lapsed over a day? Is it 2 quads at a time in the beginning and the end of your day? Or do you have a whole hour and you just want to get it all knocked out in a given day? We talked about what each of the 4 quads could represent in terms of categories for you to do. And you could gamify it and set up a timer and really burst through lightning blast style if that's not going to stress you out, that's actually a good way to be able to power through your power hour. I like to gamify stuff. I'm a bit of a thrill seeker. So if you're like that, or you're like, oh, I've just been so sluggish, I need something to kind of up the tempo, that might work. Some people are going to be overwhelmed, like poor Jasmine Pena, who isn't here tonight, I don't think, although am I mentioning her and she's going to pop up? So, just like Cher did, that was awesome. But Jasmine said that splitting up a power hour into 4 quads is really helpful. And then the different uses for the power hour when she came on again a day or two ago, that was really useful for her too. You don't have to have 4 separate quads. You could just say, this is my power hour for the day. I just so happen to have an hour unbroken. I'm going to write up all my emails for the next week. And then I'm going to plug it into my email service provider and schedule them out. And or weaving in what Stephanie said, I'm also going to spend time writing a blog. Today, writing a blog, and I'm going to have a whole separate, video on this in my live stream orbit. When you do a blog today, it can't just be like 500 words or less. A couple of years ago, they were like, the experts were like, don't write more than 500 words in a blog post. No one wants to read that long. Don't do it. It was like, it was like this bright line you didn't want to cross. Now, the way Google ranks things in terms of blogs via SEO or search engine optimization and just overall blog post optimization, the longer the blog post, the better. In fact, they're saying that as a rough minimum, 2,500 words in a blog does better. Why? Amongst other things, because this is going beyond the scope of tonight. Don't worry, y'all. We're going to get to it. We only have 365 days live streaming together. This is only day 27. But one of the reasons why longer is better for blog posts now is because someone is likely going to skim it up front to decide if they want to go back and read it. So your bounce rate will be lower and not higher if they have more to skim through. So if you're like Cher and I and you want to write long blog posts, get down with your bad writer self, because that's actually beneficial. Cher says, awesome. Looking forward to your blog tips. I've been researching. Your expertise is much appreciated. Thank you. I had started a blog in 2015, and back then it was still good, form to have like shorter blog posts. So one thing I know I'm going to be doing, which is actually not a bad deal, industry thought leader Neil Patel has said this more than once. He said, when it comes to a blog post, you can go back to an old blog post and you can add to it and update it. And as long as everything's optimized correctly, Google might shoot it up in the rankings. So that's really cool. And actually, as a quick thing while we're talking about blogs, and I'll go back to emails and the tip and to wrap it up for today, you should, if you're using Yoast SEO or any other kind of blog post or post optimizer, and even the free version of Yoast is kind of adequate for what your needs are, especially as a beginner blogging. I've found that it's important to go back at least once a month to audit the ratings or the scorings of the blog posts, because what was a green light and a go and properly optimized a year ago or even a couple months ago, the rules might have changed with Google. The algorithm might have altered and Yoast might have picked it up. And I could even have like a red dot next to something that 2-3 months ago, a year ago, was a green dot. So that is another tip that I'll get into more in another night or day, or live stream day, because I bounce all over the place as I'm available for this. But auditing your blog posts is important, because what is succeeding really well one day might actually get penalized, not likely the next day, but down the road. Okay, so what I want you all to do as a stretch goal, watching this live or on the replay, as a stretch goal, I want you to at least be emailing your list every single week. So take a power hour and plan out the next week's worth of content. not just on social media, not just any sort of blogging activity or podcasting activity or YouTube activity. You're not going to do all the things from the beginning. Don't get stressed. We talked about this on yesterday's live stream where someone was like, well, where do I start? And you have to start with the email list, setting it up, automating it. The email list is the most important thing. Everything else out there on the internet of things and the social media of things is really just nothing but connection points that someone runs across you. If you optimized your blog post, your podcast, your YouTube video, your social media content, especially with hashtags on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, those are all just connection points that drive people down to the one hub on the wheel of all your marketing. And that hub always must be your email list. It is the only thing that you own. It is the only thing that you control. A close second would be your own website, which is always good to have, even if you are, say, an Etsy seller, or even if you are a direct salesperson and you have to work off the microsite of whatever company you're working with. Cher says, I miss emailing, actually. I'm awaiting domain verification. Should be here by next week. Once your setting up shop is over, Cher, seriously, you'll have your welcome automated funnel set up. And then you definitely want to have email blasts at least once a week. If you're like scared and you're like all intimidated and you're scared about being pushy and once a week sounds like a hairy, scary stretch goal, so be it. But take the steps that you need to conquer that, because you're building up a relationship with your list. If you go too far out, they're going to unsubscribe on you anyway, because they're like, I don't need that extra, email. You want to put the time in with the relationship so that you're precious. Like if you're a Renee Christine follower, aren't you usually excited to see her emails? And I think Betty Bowlerjack was here a couple days ago, and she's like, I get emails sometimes 2 and 3 times a day from somebody. And if I like them enough, and if it's not like that all the time, I'm usually excited to be like, what's all the activity about? I can't wait to see it. Because Renee and other thought leaders put out enough KLT or know, like, and trust deposits that when they're asking for the occasional withdrawal, people are all too happy to do it. Now, I saw something else. Stephanie says, my goal is to set things up in OO this week. I currently email once a week. That is a good minimum. And Stephanie, you're a superstar, so that doesn't surprise me at all. She's got her bases covered, everybody. I love it. But now your stretch goal, once you're there doing it once a week, is to make sure that you now move to twice a week and use your power hour and pre-schedule emails and plan out your content and move to that. Once you've conquered that persistently and consistently, you've folded that well into the mix while you're balancing work and home. And that's why I like power hours so much. You can have more than one power hour in a day. But the bottom line is then move to 3 days. And once you're at 3 to 4 days a week, I really like that. And then when you have a major product launch or retirement and you're having like a flash sale and stuff, or it's like Black Friday or something like that, they don't care if they hear from you every single day because they like you enough. They're excited, and you're usually putting in deposits with the occasional withdrawal. And again, you're a business, so it's not going to be surprising when you go to make that withdrawal once in a blue. Stephanie says, eek! Now, Stephanie, you want to be the thought leader in all things tutus. So you definitely couldn't possibly consume enough content about tutus and all things about them, so that this way you can write blog posts about it, you can have videos about it, you can do live stream demos and discussions about them, tips, tricks, and think about how you could work a tutu into someone's wardrobe or costumes or dance needs every single month, because that's going to give you talking points every single month. And so what I like about that is that you can then say to everybody, you can talk to your email list as though they've already bought from you. And some will have and some won't have, but that's okay. You are talking to always write an email as though it's between you and one person, right? You're not talking to a whole list. That's impersonal. So you're just going to talk to the one person as you author your email. You're going to presume they purchased from you. So if they did and you're giving these tips, tricks, suggestions, uses, alternate uses, they're going to be jazzed. And if they didn't buy from you, they're going to be like, I have this coupon code and she's just showing me all these different uses. And oh, I'm so attracted to it now. And that's why I signed up and I didn't use I got to use the coupon. One other thing really quick before I wrap this up is when you set up your welcome your automated funnel, your welcome funnel for someone who signs up to get your coupon or PDF if you're, a coach or, you have a different type of email opt-in. If you're selling learning, online or learning, you might have a video series or a webinar, whatever it is. When somebody opts into your list and you deliver the coupon or whatever it was in that first automated email, do two things in that first automated email that I've not seen other people teach. The first thing is, and it might make that first email longer than you would have thought, that's okay. That's the one email that they are going to open almost guaranteed because that contains what they signed up for. So take advantage of this opportunity. When they open up your email, yes, immediately they should get delivered to them what they asked for. Don't bury it on the bottom of the email. But the next thing you should do is give them all your social media links. Follow me on Facebook here. I do live streams Mondays and Fridays. Follow me on Instagram here because I have IGTV content or I have stories that give you tips and tricks and stuff like that. Follow me on Twitter. I like to be part of the conversation about tutus or about coaching or whatever. Here's the YouTube channel, see all the videos about, my products and the care and feeding of the products or the type of coaching that I do, or here's some free coaching, right? Does that make sense? Then the second thing I want you to do, the first thing I want you to do up top is to put the deliverable. The second thing I want you to do is to give all your links because this is your one chance. You have their undivided attention. Grow your platform, right? More social proof for you and your brand. But third, and then I have to go. Steven Ames! Third, I want you to give them instructions on how to whitelist an email. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So y'all better show up. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.